If Jesus is God, when he comes down again later, wouldn't he say, listen, guys, you fucked a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
You completely misinterpreted what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Let's fix this once and for all. Thou shalt not own humans as property. He didn't say that. What did he say? Slaves, obey your masters with fear and respect. Let's just get right into it because we're about to throw the religious nuclear option.
Oh, no.
Whenever some Jesus freak tells me, so you don't believe in God? And I say no. Well, then where do you get your moral code from?
Huh.
And I explain from the idea that we were all interconnected, my actions affect other people, their actions affect me, and since we're all in this together, it is better to promote the wellness of everyone.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Because I do also believe that most humans are just inherently built in with a certain moral and ethic code.
Because we evolved as a social creature that is dependent on the rest of, at the time, tribe, now the larger tribe.
Right.
And they was, so you don't get your morals from the Bible. And I love to point out the Bible that tells you to subjugate women, stone people to death for wearing mixed fabrics. The penalty for eating shrimp is death. And sanctions and condones slavery. And then they look at me confused, like they don't know what I'm fucking talking about. The Bible condones slavery. And then apologists will say, well, it didn't really mean that kind of slavery. And I bring up the verses right here.
Oh, which
let's
you
start
actually have.
with
All right.
Exodus 21.
Shall we? Let's play the game.
Do you know what Exodus 21 is all about?
Of course I don't.
I know you don't. Most of you don't either.
Probably not.
It concerns the buying, selling, and treatment of your Jewish slaves. So, the Jews are the chosen people. If you enslave a Jew,
Okay.
for one, you're only allowed to own him for 7 years. In year 7, you have to let him go.
Okay.
If while he's your slave, he takes a wife, or you assign him, if he comes in with a wife, they both have to be let free together. But if you assign him a wife while he's your slave, at that 7th year, he goes free. The wife and children stay yours forever.
Okay.
So I buy a slave.
I get the economics of it,
yeah.
so I'm following the logistics. I meant okay, as in, I don't remember this.
Right, because they don't teach this in Sunday school.
That's what I was about to ask. I was in Sunday school, and I don't remember any of this.
So what would an apologist say to you at that point? Well, we have indentured servitude. If they're paying off a debt, they work off their debt for 7 years, and then they're let free. And I say, do you really think that's true? Because if we go then to Leviticus, it explains how you treat your non-Jewish slaves. Where God tells you very specifically, from the heathen lands that surround you, from there you may purchase your male and female slaves, and you don't have to let them go ever.
From the heathen lands that surround you.
Yeah. So if they're not a Jew, you can own them forever. You can beat them so long as they don't die the next day. If a master beats his slave and the slave dies that day, the master is to be punished. However, if the slave survives for 2 to 3 days, there shall be no punishment, for he is your property. And then there's a whole bunch of thou shalt. Nah, it's all this other shit.
So,
To get back to the apologists,
okay.
We're not talking about indentured servitude. You owe me a lot of money, and I'm going to force you to be my butler until you've paid it off.
No. We've gone to heathen lands, which I'm assuming is just everywhere else except where you are.
Anyone who's not us. You
I
can
do-
purchase them as property,
Okay.
beat them, buy them, sell them, leave them in your will to your children. So I'm not talking about
Right.
indentured servitude, like some Jesus freak is going to come back and say, well, they pay off. No, we are talking about purchasing them as property. That's not my definition. It's in the fucking book. We're using your God's definition.
I'm so confused right now. All right, so tell me, there are new editions of said book, and in the newer editions, is some of this cut out, or did they leave it in there?
Well, here's the other thing. You would think someone else, well, that was before Jesus in the Old Testament, and Jesus fulfilled the covenant, so those rules don't apply. Okay, well, when you ask Jesus about slavery, he only makes one statement about it in the New Testament. If Jesus is God, when he comes down again later, wouldn't he say, listen, guys, you fucked a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
You completely misinterpreted what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Let's fix this once and for all. Thou shalt not own humans as property. He didn't say that. What did he say? Slaves, obey your masters with fear and respect. I did not come to do away with the law, but to enforce it. Not one dot, not one letter of the law shall be changed. That's what he said.
Okay.
This, of course, is the justification that was used for going to Africa, kidnapping people, and turning them into human cattle. And any attempt to say otherwise is fucking disingenuous. And the mental gymnastics you have to go through to justify your fucked up belief system in your fucking Bronze Age abhorrent book is just baffling. Baffling.
It goes to show, like, someone like me, I didn't even know this shit was in there.
Deuteronomy, Exodus, Leviticus, Genesis, these are all passages that not only condone slavery, but tell you these are the rules for how you do it.
Wow. I only went to like 12 Sunday school lessons, and then like towards the last one, I raised my hand, was like, something about dinosaurs. And he was like, get out. And then that was the end of that. But
no, it's odd because the early church fathers, I don't remember, it wasn't the Council of Nicaea, it was a different one. At the beginning, they were really arguing about whether or not to even include the Old Testament stuff.
Okay.
In an effort to separate us from them. This isn't just more Judaism. Leave that old shit out entirely. And I'm not sure exactly the reasons why, but they still wanted some connectivity or thought it would give it more legitimacy if they kept the Old Testament stuff in.
Okay.
So instead, they changed the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, changed them to be a little more friendly to Romans and not so friendly to Jews. So suddenly, what if Pontius Pilate kind of wanted to not execute Jesus and the Jews forced him to do it? Yeah, let's do that. So you can go to Rome and it's not us. We weren't the bad guys. Fucking Hebes. They did it. It wasn't our fault. And so you have Gospels that don't match.
Right.
Because they just, fuck it, just change it. So there was a lot of talk about just eliminating the Old Testament stuff entirely.
Okay, so here's something. We go back and change movies because we feel like, well, that's not appropriate, for modern art. They took the guns away from E.T.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That far more sacrilegious than anything else I've seen so far. You took away the guns from E.T. At what point will they take the Bible and be like, well, we really should change a bunch of stuff in here and come up with the new edition that's made for modern audiences?
Never. Never. Because you started off by saying, this is the irrevocable, unbreakable, direct word of God. Unchanging, unerring, eternal.
I thought the same thing about E.T.
Except for the parts that we don't like. Yeah. The instant you say, okay, maybe we misinterpreted this, or maybe God didn't really say this, or maybe an all-loving, all-knowing, all-caring God wouldn't say something like this, you just start plucking away. You're poking holes now. Poking holes. Right, because that same book, Leviticus, we ignore slavery. We, in fact, outlawed it ourselves 2,000 years later. That's still the passage that they use to denounce gay marriage. That's if a man lies with another man, it is an abomination to the Lord. You still like that part. But the other crazy shit about eating shellfish and wearing linen and wool together, we left that part out because it's fucking crazy. The part about you shall not sit in a chair where a menstruating woman has sat, or lest you both be stoned to death. We eliminate that part.
That part we'll pretend that's not in there. We'll just...
But stone the gays to death. We got to keep that in. What the fuck?
So you leave all the stuff in there. You just get to cherry pick what you actually want to teach or what you want to project for the rest of the world.
So you're going to tell me my secular morality doesn't live up to your fucked up Bronze Age morality? Can you be emotionally and intellectually sincere for even a fucking second? Are you capable?
I don't even know where to take that.
You understand why evolution is such a threat to Jesus freaks, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that they hate evolution and are so desperate to... Oh, it's just a theory, you don't know that.
Because it would scientifically disprove.
Disprove what?
Well, the moment you start disproving creation, then it's just a domino effect, right? I've disproved one portion of your book.
Yeah.
So what else is wrong?
The perhaps most easily just like the slavery stuff is the most indefensible shit in the Bible.
Right.
Your creation story is maybe that Noah's flood.
Okay.
The most easily demonstrably wrong shit you could possibly come up with. Because if there was no creation, there was no Adam and Eve.
Right.
Then there was no original sin. So there's no reason for Jesus to come down. There's no reason for God to come down as himself and sacrifice himself to forgive us for breaking the rules that he put in place.
Right. And it just falls apart and falls apart and falls apart and falls apart.
Even if all that was true, how about just fucking forgive us? No, I demand a blood sacrifice. I'm going to send myself down to sacrifice myself to appease my anger of my... What the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking insane? That's why it was my Bible study that made me abandon this shit. Because once you start reading it and looking at it, like, this is fucking lunacy. It's like Leah Remini learning about Xenu in the Scientology office. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I can't do it anymore. My tolerance for bullshit is 0. I can't anymore. Again, if you think I'm wrong...
By all means.
Show me that I'm wrong, and I'll convert live on camera.
That's what the comment section is for.
But I don't think you can do it.
No.
Show me that I'm wrong. Show me that I'm wrong.
The very definition of faith is unprovable.
Oh, well, it's Matt... I don't know what's his name. Matt Dill something. This philosopher who says faith is the excuse people give when they don't have a good reason.
Yeah.
Like if I ask you, why do you believe that South Korea is a better country than North Korea?
I believe. I have faith in...
But why do you think that? You can give me reasons. Economic stability. Political stability. There's no poverty. There's no starvation. There's freedoms. These are the reasons South Korea is a better place to live.
Fair.
Why do you think North Korea is a better country? Well, I just take it on faith. Is there anything that you can't take on faith? Any position on any subject that you just say, I just take it on faith? There's not.
No.
The Bible says it's okay for us to go kidnap Africans and enslave them. How do you know that? I take it on faith.
Yep.
So faith can be used to justify a moral and an immoral position.
Yeah.
So why is it a good path to truth?
Would love to know your responses. I know either one of you out there believes in this fully and completely, or you know somebody who does, and you're about to forward them this video and ask them, hey, have you seen what these two assholes said about you? And then we'll see if we can start something in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious.
I haven't pulled anything out of my ass. I haven't pulled out any... I'm using the new King James version, if that means anything.
Oh, so it's the new... All right. So it is the version made for modern audiences. All right.
Well, no. I mean, there's 100 versions of the Bible.
Right.
There are 100 versions of the unerring, inalterable Word of God. Just like there's 1,000 denominations of Christianity. Are they all right? Are they all wrong? There's about 10,000 gods.
It depends on where you're sitting.
Throughout human history, there's 10,000 gods that we just know of.
Right.
Whose names were written down. Who knows how many others were pre-civilization, we don't know who they are. Either they're all right, or they're all wrong, or they're all fucking made up.
Right.
Which makes the most sense?
Well, if you ask them, one of them is right. All the rest of them are wrong. And the one that's right is the one I believe in.
And how do you know you're right? I take it on faith.
Take it on faith.
A Vishnu, a Pradeep, you're Hindu? How do you know you're right? I take it on faith. Hey Aziz, you're a Muslim, yeah? You're sure Muhammad and Allah is correct? How do you know? I take it on faith. It's all bullshit, isn't it?
Oh, you gotta leave some comments. I want to start a conversation here on this one.
This is a serious subject, and we're avoiding the obvious comedy. There are so many Star Trek actors in Roots. But I don't want to go... And OJ!
That's great.
OJ! OJ was in Roots.
I loved him in The Naked
With Geordi
Gun.
and Dr. Ira Graves. So many Star Trek actors. All right, anyway.
You know what to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And I guess we'll see you in another video. Unless this gets a bunch of community strikes. We'll see what happens.
I still want to do a live event.
Yeah?
Where we discuss this. I want to bring in a representative from the major religions.
It would be awesome.
And just talk it out on stage in front of an audience.
Yeah. And just see, you prove us wrong, and we're going to Well, I don't know how much proving we really have to do, but
I don't
you
have
know,
to prove shit. I haven't claimed anything.
That's true.
I haven't made any declarations.
That's true.
You are telling me there's an invisible man that lives in the sky, and I'm telling you, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't have to prove to you that I don't buy it. I'm telling you, I don't buy it. You prove to me why it's true. You've made the claim.
I don't think we'll get anybody on the same way that like a hypnotist will cherry pick who they bring up.
Yeah.
And they look at you and like, oh, you don't believe in any of this stuff. I can't bring you up on stage.
Right.
You won't be hypnotized by my powers because you don't believe it in the first place. Then doesn't that mean it's bullshit?
Don't know. I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know
perfectly
either.
fine saying I don't know. But you're going to compare my morality to this shit? Get the fuck out of here, man.
You can piss off with that because that's fucked up.
You picked maybe the single worst, well, maybe the Quran is a little worse. The worst fucking book to get your moral code from.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I know I'm not. But if you think I am, show me that.
By all means. We'll see you in another video. Later.